I paid the most working with Buffalo artists. Like, which is crazy. Like, anytime I've gotten features or tried to do videos, and it costs me more to work with people here than it is. Like, I've got people that just jumped, like Sue Surf jumped on my album with Conway. He didn't even know Conway was on the shit. My boy Smoke was laying down a verse. He walked by because they were both managed by my boy Greg. He's like, oh, I got to jump on this. Just jumped on it. Didn't charge me none.
That's hard.
Like,
Free surf, man.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, hey. Okay. Out to the paper, the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it. Okay, out to the paper, the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it.
What does the future look like for your podcast?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of No Label, the podcast. Here my boy Nell, but this time he is behind the camera.
Yo.
So definitely shout out to Nell. Shout out to everybody that's been subscribing on YouTube, liking on Instagram, commenting, Facebook, TikTok, everything. Go over there, head over to nolabelmedia.co. Go ahead and get some traction on the website. Look at all the dope stuff we got coming. And today, we are back at a familiar place. We was here a couple weeks ago with Speedy and Heist. Today, we are here with Struggle Mike. How you doing today, bro?
Doing all right, man. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, we like to get into like the origin story, and then just from there, we just talk about the come up, talk about the journey, talk about all your accolades and accomplishments thus far, you know?
Okay.
So, I was watching, just doing my research. I seen a recent interview that as a baby, you had cancer.
Yep.
So, how was, like, when your parents told you about that, like, when you got to, like, a certain age, like, what did you think about that? Because you beat it, obviously.
Yeah, I beat it, obviously. But to be honest, like, I remember a lot. Like, it happened when I was 2, but, like, you got to remember that's, like, when we found out I had cancer. So then, like, going through it, by the time everything was done and, you know, all the scare of remission, all that, I mean, I was damn near 10, you know? But, like, you know, it was at a point where, like, you know, from according to my parents, like, in the beginning, they ran out of options. So they were doing, like, they were signing off on all types of different medicines for them to try to, because I only had, like, a 10% chance of living. So they, like, signed off on all types of stuff to save me. And, you know, and then they're like, oh, you know, if he does live, he's not going to be able to walk. And if he walks, he's going to have a crazy limp and he won't be able to have kids and all this. Because, like, it was a tumor on my spinal cord, like the size of like a baseball. At 2, that's a big ass fucking tumor, you know? So they had to cut a lot of stuff. And, like, you know, like even my legs, like since I was like at early, like beginning of a teenager, I had like bad varicose veins because like they blocked certain stuff off and, you know, but like if I'm walking too much or if I'm like standing too long, you'll see I walk with a limp sometimes, like if I'm on my feet too much. So.
Did you play sports growing up? Did that prevent you from playing sports?
No, I mean, I didn't really. We played it like in the neighborhood, you know, basketball, baseball, shit like that. You know, just shit in the hood, just never on a team or nothing. I was, you know, after a certain time, like my life story is kind of fucked up. So like I almost died, and then by the time I was, you know, all that shit was done, like, you know, my mom was constantly working. My dad was in South America or Central America all the time, and like it was literally just my older sister, me, and my little sister. And then, like, you know, I was always trying to get my dad's attention because he was in the military and shit. So I'd always dress up in camouflage all the time. You ask people back in the day, they damn near camo Mike, you know, like I was always in camouflage. But, you know, then finally he's like, oh, you know, we started hanging out, having the father-son relationship. But it was like, you know, put me in a different type of game, if you get my drift. Like, and then I was, by like 7th grade, I was out in the streets doing whatever, making money. You know what I'm saying? And then by 8th grade, bro, I was getting in trouble at the bus stop. I was a full-blown alcoholic already. Like, I was drinking 40s at the bus stop in the morning. You know, I didn't really care about anything or nothing. Like, it was just about making money. making my dad happy and friggin', being outside, and then, all types of shit. I had my first kid when I was like 17, and then, then I started to straighten up and shit like that. But it was like a wild thing, because like in the beginning it was all gravy, and then it turned into like, certain people get addicted to the drugs they're selling, and that's where that led to with my father. And then the whole abuse thing at the house, beating us up every day. So it was like it was a hard story, bro. Like, really was. Like, it was a rough, like, I didn't really have birthdays, didn't really have toys. It was just like I was in the streets and then abused, beat up, fucking, it was kind of fucked up. But I'm not, I made a point that, when I had kids, when I found out I was able to have kids, I was like, I'm not gonna be like that. And I changed. And then I didn't really talk to my dad until like the past couple of years. We just started talking.
So what was that? How long was that gap that y'all weren't talking?
The first time was like, I don't know. I'd say we didn't talk for, I don't know, 7 years until like my oldest was like 8. So like he'd seen her when she was a baby, and then I didn't talk to him for a long time. Like, and then we really didn't talk. We talked for a little bit, and then we really didn't have any type of relationship. And then the past couple of years, I'd say we talked more. I mean, we're cool. I mean, he's still my father.
Yeah.
And he apologized to fucking the shit. It gave me PTSD and all that shit. Like, they diagnosed me with PTSD because like the crazy shit I went through. Like, I mean, you're 13-year-old. White kid from South Buffalo sitting on Goodyear or something, hustling. Like, this shit's crazy, dog. Like, there's, I've seen some shit. And then friggin', then on the block when we had our own block here in South Buffalo, it's just no kid should be doing that. Like, no kid should be around that shit. And then,
What would you say are, because there are a lot of negatives, right? So what would you say are some like positive or some things you learned that help you later on in life, just being out in the street like that young and experiencing those things?
Man, I you know what? I would say like not the positive things was like, I don't know. Positive wise, it kind of taught me some sort of business ethic, like our grind hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like I won't give up. Like when I had a car shop, or when I had the clothing store, the music, the minute you give up, that's it. It's over, But like if you're still trying, you're still like, I think you're still successful. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to be a millionaire. You don't got to be none of that. As long as you're still trying and still hustling, and that's like, it gave me that thing to be out there to get it done. Like I was always the go-to guy to get it done. So that kind of taught me to like, oh, you guys want to do this? We're going to get it done. We'll get it done today. And then, that's kind of like what I learned, and I don't know. Like,
Yeah, so just kind of like that resilient grind mentality.
Yeah, and helping people, to be honest, because I didn't see no one getting helped. So then in return, once I got to a certain point where I was good, I continuously help people. Like, no matter what people think or say about me or write about me, like at the end of the day, there's a ton of people I've helped out. We've helped out people for Christmas. They couldn't afford Christmas for their family. We've helped them out. People get out of jail. I give them boxes of clothes, like all types of shit. Like if I have it, I'll give it to you. I don't, money don't really matter, bro. It's gonna, it comes and goes, man. If you got $10,000, people are like, oh, you save it. 95% of us ain't saving that shit. 10 bands are like, well, I get some wheels for the car, or I could go on vacation, or I could get this, or I get that for the house. Ends up going. And people, so, anytime I get big bulks of money like that, I'll do like a trip with the family, because those memories are worth more than that money.
Yeah, that's a fact. I agree with that. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So grew up in South Buffalo, right?
Yeah, born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised. So how would you describe South Buffalo to somebody who's not from Buffalo? Because anybody who's not from Buffalo, there's South Buffalo, North Buffalo.
Yeah, South
East
Buffalo,
side,
South Buffalo years ago was really racist. It was, and like growing up the way I did, that wasn't like a thing to me. So like it was kind of hard for me to fit in with the kids in my neighborhood, because I wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a lot better. It's a lot more diverse. There's businesses owned by Black people, Hispanic people, Arabic people, white people, all on this block, and for the most part, everyone gets along, and that's the way it should be anyhow. South Buffalo years ago when I was a teenager was okay, you know, if you're a white kid, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, you know, now it's way better. It's way more diversified. It seems like everyone's a lot more gets along, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't know, and it's just an Irish neighborhood. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, it's just like any other neighborhood. It has its pros and cons. Like, there's some good food spots, there's some bad food spots. You know what I'm saying? You know, you grow up in South Buffalo, you might say Imperial's the best pizza. You grow up in Lackawanna, you might say Bella. You grow up on the West, you're going to say Lenova, you know, so on and so forth. You know, I mean, I don't know what the best is on the East Side. You know, I really, you know, like.
What would you say? Because I don't eat pizza.
Yo, you know, no.
On the east side?
Yeah.
I don't know. People might say just, but it's not even that.
Yeah, Just Pizza's not like. Once they expanded, they haven't been that good anymore.
Yeah.
And you used to have Broadway Bobby's, but then they moved to Lackawanna.
Where was Leonardi's at?
I don't know.
Millersport. Outside the city, though.
Metro's pretty good when I used to eat it.
But even them, they kind of like,
I tell you what you guys do got. You got Annie and Unks, those fish whoppers. I know Grown Jones has them joints now.
I never had them.
Yeah, dude, everyone's talking about them. Fish whoppers at Grown Jones's place, Little Jonesy's dad's joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to check that joint out, too. So you just recollecting, you talk about how when you got good or when you became good or whenever you turned your life around to a certain degree, right? So what was it, what were you into at the time that made you like want to make that change or like turn your life around in that way?
Just having kids, man. To be honest, if I never had kids, I probably would have already been dead. Like I could almost guarantee it. The way I was living, I used to be super violent, super angry all the time, and that's just, you know, because I grew up a certain way. But then like once, you know, I had my daughter a lot when she was a baby, and then, you know, I had my first son, and it just like changed. Even like I used to smoke mad weed, and like, you know, one day I was in the front hallway, smoking with my ex-wife at the time, you know, my son's mother, and we're sitting there smoking, and I'm like, man, he's really quiet, man. Like he's doing good. And I opened the door. It looked like someone was murdered in my house. Like what he did is he was a little baby, like not a baby, but he was a kid, and he crushed one of those ornaments from a Christmas tree, like the glass ones, and cut his hand open. I was just telling the story earlier. And he put it all over the couch, on the floor, on the wall, so it looked bad. So then, you know, we picked him up, went to the hospital, and they looked at us like I was baked, you know? And they looked at us like we were the biggest scumbags. And then right there, I was like, I'm not going to smoke weed really anymore. And then I kept, you know, I went to college because I never graduated high school. I dropped out, you know, fucking ended up going back, get my GED. Then I went to college, got my degree for fixing cars, and started doing that, and, you know, got really into cars, like, so.
Is that how you built a lot of your network? Because you're somebody in the city who people say like connect dots. Like,
yeah,
from me and Nelson was talking about it earlier. Like, you got people who do clothing in the shop. You got people, barbers, producers, rappers, like, you know, all types of people. So was the car scene is how you got connected to a lot of people?
Yeah, the car scene was the opening because, like, I used to travel all over the Northeast USA and Canada, and then I ended up going to a car club that was based out of LA that was national, then ended up being worldwide. You know, we have chapters like, I think we got like 20-something, 25 chapters in the US, then we have Canada, Germany, Mexico, Japan. So I could just network. Like when people go on tours in some of the major cities, there's 95% chance I'm gonna know someone in there if you need a car or a bar or something to pull up to shoot a video at or something, like, you know, and that started to connect the dots. And then when I opened the clothing store, it did it more. Like all the clothing guys were like that I knew, the reps I ended up meeting were just OGs from their neighborhood, whether it be in Harlem or, you know, Compton or whatever. I just met them all, and then we linked up crazy, and, you know, we all worked together. And then you know, that's how I kind of met Benny. He needed a car for a video. I had the custom car, so we used that, and then it just kind of clicked like that and just kept building, and then just, you know, and if, you know, I'm not one of those people that gatekeep. Like if you come to me and be like, yo man, can I have this guy's number, or how do I do this? I'm not gonna be like, no, or I'm not gonna be like, yeah, 2 bands. I don't do that shit. Like, cause it don't matter. I'd rather be the person to be like, I hooked you up with this, and then it just makes us both look good. You know what I'm saying? Like when they tell their story or whatever, or they're out there, they're living lavish or going big. I'm like, oh yeah, Mike helped me out. You know, like I don't want to be one of those people like, yeah, man, you know, they fucked me over on this or fucked me over. I'm not that type of person, man. Like I just don't do it like that.
Nah, I fuck with that. What's the name of the car? What would you? Is it a car club, a car company?
It's a car club. Yeah, Nocturnal Car Club.
Okay,
Yeah, this is our 25th year, so
that's fire. So once you were, how did Benny know to contact you for the car? Were they like asking around for that specific car, or was?
No, they were like asking, and then they got a hold of Tony De Niro at the time was with them, and then Tony and me had a mutual friend. So then we linked up, and then like a lot of those early videos, Tony was like executive producing. A lot of that shit was like my cars or my buddy's cars or my warehouse or my buddy's bar or something. Like a lot of those videos they shot, like, you know, broken bottles, half of the rubber bands and weight joint, even like cruiserweight Coke, Tito's bag. A lot of those things were, a lot of those scenarios were involved. I was involved in, you know, like the one El Camino joint, I forgot the name of the song. He's driving in a matte black Audi. That's my boy's car. Like we were the ones that was always putting it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. So and then I needed a verse from Benny, and then then music happened.
What song was that verse for?
For a young kid named Same Dude. So when I had the clothing store, I met someone that was like, oh, this guy his son's a rapper, but he really wants to work with Benny. I see you're with Benny. He's like, can you get him a verse? I was like, well, let me see. And then I met him and his father's like, yeah, I want to be a barber. His name's Tim. And then I was like, well, we'll get the stuff, and you just set up and start cutting here. He's like, all right. So set him up, and then he's like, oh, Speedy's gonna come record Benny at the store. I was like, all right. And we set it up, and I really liked the situation of someone coming in, recording a track, and then it going out online. I was like, yo, this is fire. We should do this. Speedy was in his basement. I was like, let's bring your equipment in here, and we'll do it here. You know, and then you have a home base. That way, you know, you're not bothering the wife and the kids. You'll get out of the house, and she ain't got to worry about all these people coming in and out recording music, and then it went from there and just kept going, and you know, we just kept expanding. I kept networking with clothing companies or clothing people that I knew other hip hop artists or OGs from different neighborhoods that I knew out of town. Like they would hook me up with people like MC8 or Beanie Siegel or Sue Surf and all those guys. My boy Smoke Bolger in Boston. Like they're all just like, you know, and then it we were all on the same path. You know, we all wanted to help each other. So
that's fire. And what year was the first Struggle Compound store open?
That had to be like 2015, I think, because we just did our 10-year. It was like blurry in the beginning because it was so like, when I first did it was like a big guy store. That's all we did. We sold like XL to 8X. And like, it was funny because like the minute we started doing music, it just got to skinny people. Like there's no more big guys coming in. It was like small, medium, large, maybe an XL. I was like, this is crazy. Like, you know, but I guess, you know, rappers don't eat. I don't know. Like some, you know, but
they're just smoking all day.
Yeah, that's you know, but it just really just turned, you know, like it's real sketchy. But ever since then, it just kind of like, man, every time we open a location, it's just pandemonium. Like at first, you never know what's gonna happen, man. Like, you know, people would come out of town because the first store we had the Benny mural on the side of the building. So like people would come in like, oh, I want to get a picture. Yeah, go ahead. You know, like, you know, people would come in there. We have parties. You know, we have some girls over, maybe stripper parties, whatever. You know, we did whatever we wanted. You know, it was new. We were trying to figure it out. So everything and dude, like, it was a prime time because Benny and Conway and Wes were going up there. You know, they were getting bigger and bigger, and then we were like kind of like the only, not, I don't want to say the only studio because there's a bunch of studios out there, but like everyone was coming there. You know what I'm saying? And we were just at a prime spot. So like at one point, Speedy was damn near recording 50 hours plus a week. And then the barber, and then we had all the clothes in there. It was so small, but it kind of worked. And it was popping. It was at the gas station, so everyone was there. You know, it was just, you know, and it just, dude, we'd probably be open like 10 a.m. to fucking 4 a.m. every day, dude. We were just, people were constantly there. And then, you know, we had other buddies that wanted to do their own business, so we're like, okay, we'll expand. And then we moved to the bigger location.
Then y'all moved to the plaza?
To the plaza, and then, you know, then that had its own, like we moved in there and that was right around when COVID hit and we were kind of already in the middle of moving. I was like, well, we got to keep going, you know, like we can't stop now. And we went there and then kind of like everyone started to fall off a little bit. I'm like, damn. So then when they started to fall off a little bit, I was like, well, give these guys their space to kind of figure out what they want to do. We got the space rented. Everyone's in here. Everything's moving still good, you know, like, so I teamed up with Benny. Benny was like, well, instead of you going and signing to a label, why don't you come to us and you can help, you know, with my artists and we'll release your music through us. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I helped, you know, manage Rick Hyde for a little bit. And then, you know, I would go on tour and like I was a soldier. If he, you know, like if I'm usually like a leader in things, but if someone needs me to, you know, jump, like when I jumped on his team, you know, I wasn't used as good as much as they probably should have, you know, because like I don't think they understood how my mental worked. Like if you tell me you want me on part of this and I'm gonna be one of your soldiers and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck you want me to do and get it done, you know, you know, so you want me to get Rick hype? I got Rick out in L.A., you know, I got him popping up with my boy Conejo at his event, you know, all Mexicans at this fucking concert, and there's me and Rick, you know, and they're like, oh, bring him on stage, and all these Mexicans, most of them didn't even understand English, and they're vibing to Rick Hyde, you know, and then we got Rick Hyde his first solo show in L.A., and like I got that all popping for him, and we were and Rick was, you know, and that's what I did. And then when I go on tour with them, I would get my own rental. I wouldn't stay with them. I'd stay in my own place, so I wasn't bothering nobody. And I would just, okay, we're going to the next city. Who's jumping in my rental? I'd usually get a big expedition or commander, and you know, I'd have Rick in there, Heem, the camera guy, my camera guy, fucking, you know, like Byers Murray would be in there. Like I'd pack that shit in and we'd go to the next city, you know, and whatever you want me to, you know, one time I was like, yo, Rick doesn't have nothing going on this week. What do you need me to do anything? It's like, oh, why don't you take bass out to Cali and do the Bootleg Kev interview? I'm like, all right. So fucking I booked me and bass a ticket and fucking flew out there, and then, you know, I bring him to my boys at Underground Hip Hop. He did a mic session there and hit up my other homies from Nocturnal that were out there, and we shot a music video, and then we went to Bootleg Kev and came back. Whatever, you know, I'm down, bro. Like if I can, we should all be winning together. So if it makes the team look good, then why not? You know, like that's the point, you know. So
no, yeah, that's a fact.
They miss that. It's like if a lot of people miss it. If the team looks good, we all win.
Yeah,
and
dude.
it's like that's something that's missing in the rap industry, or I'll say music in general.
yeah.
But nah, that's powerful within itself.
Yeah, because I mean, I get it, man. Everyone wants to be the famous person. Everyone wants to be the leader. But not everyone can be it, and they all can't be it at once. You know, and I think that's like
It's important to be a star in your role.
yeah, like I mean, you could like everyone deserves whatever they think they, you know. If every rapper should think they're the best rapper. No matter what people tell you. Someone could tell you you're the worst rapper on earth, stop rapping. But if you believe in yourself, just keep rapping. You're the best rapper. That's all there is to it. And that's the way you should think. And, you know, and some people do think like that and some people don't. But, like, when you're on a team, you can still think that, but you know you're not in that role. Like, if you're in Benny's camp, Benny's obviously the star. You know, you guys are the next up, you know. And and everyone plays their part. And then eventually you branch off. You know, Wes got Conway and Benny up on there, and then they all branched out. And now their artists will start to branch out, and that's how it should be. Damn near like a pyramid scheme. But you know what I'm saying? But everyone can win. Everyone can be a leader, but it's not gonna happen. You can't just jump on BSF and be like, oh yeah, I'm BSF. I'm fucking the best ever. No, like you just jumped on now. They've been doing, how long has Benny been rapping? You know what I'm saying? Forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it took him a long time. You know, it took him a long time. And why does he, just because you're sweet or you might be hot right now, why does he have to bring you on board and make you the star? You being on that label or associated with that label is enough in its own right. You know what I'm saying? But don't overplay that card. Oh, I'm BSF. No, they'll be like, oh, aren't you a BSF? Yeah, I am. You know, but I'm my own person too.
Yeah, that just allows you connections and your feet in the door in different places.
That's just worth it on its own. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some people don't think that way, unfortunately.
So when did you say the struggle. Well, first of all, why did you choose the name Struggle in the first place for just the conglomerate in general?
Well, like I said in the beginning, it was a big guy store. So me and my partner at the time, my buddy, we were in Las Vegas and we were just complaining because we're big dudes. We're like, man, there's fucking never any cool clothes for big dudes. You know, we're stuck to like white tees or some bullshit. And I was like, well, we should make a store. We should find clothes that are only for big guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because it's a struggle, and that was it. And then we moved, you know, we opened a store. I started finding these companies that had dope clothing, but for big guys, but a lot of people weren't carrying it. So we started carrying the stuff, and then it went from there. And then, like, we always had our struggle bear, and it meant more than just struggle to find stuff. Like, I put it more into perspective. Like, the struggle and the struggle bear is just like, it's like it represents, like, our area. Like, it's a struggle from where we are. Not only just, obviously, big guys' clothing, but it ended up being more of a meaning of where we're from. Like, everyone that's involved with the struggle with our store, music-wise, clothing-wise, barber, podcast, whatever, it's a struggle for us to get up out of our area. So it just, you know, it went from there. And then it turned into like a whole story where the struggle bear represented low-income areas, and then the Pyrex guy that I had represented like the government, because, you know, we know that the CIA introduced crack into our neighborhoods. So the Pyrex, like, those were our first logos, and we had a storyline with them and everything. And it just kept going from there. And then it kind of moved to the struggle cartel and, you know, so on and so forth.
Rest in peace, Gary Webb, man. He exposed that.
Yeah. See where that got him. He exposed to nothing no more, man.
But so after this like situation with BSF kind of dissolved to a degree, because I know y'all still like work together.
Yeah.
When you really started to focus on the artists you had on the Struggle Compound label?
Yeah, well, I've always had my guys like in the beginning, like when I started making albums, all my albums, not only did they have Benny and Conway and all that, but I had Speedy and Stretch and Same Dude and all that. So I looked at it as marketing, you know, like people are gonna tap into this album because they see Benny's on it, they see Sue Surf's on it, they see Conway's on it. So, and then they're going to listen to them songs. They'll be like, damn, who's that on there? Speedy, let me look him up. And then, you know, it's just another way for marketing.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then,
how the DJs used to do back in the day, like the Clue tapes.
Yeah, to just get the, you know, on other artists and producers. Then, so like all the albums I put out are all artists I know or from my camp with producers I know. I just kept doing it. And our artists would put out their own solo tapes after the mixtapes. That way people could be like, oh, I really like Grenzy's verse on this song. He doesn't have music out. Oh, a tape just dropped. Now I can check out what he's doing on his own. And it just kept going like that. Like I've always had a focus on the guys, but they all have like their own thing. Like Speedy has FBUNT. You know, he's got that. You know, he Dagger. Dagger's not really a struggle artist. He's just the nephew. You know, whatever of Speedy, and he has his own stuff, Untouched Talents, his label, his showcases, his events, and then you got Heist. He's got Rent Money. You know, he's got his own little label, and they all have their own artists. You know, and so like, you know, I use like me being part of BSF brought me into bigger rooms with bigger people, and now I keep, and everywhere I go, like I just, once everyone started coming back around, then I started bringing, you know, our names back up, and then our names keep going, you know, so, and then if they drop something, they should be able to get just as good as me, so, you know.
How many people total are on Struggle?
Struggle right now, like, I mean, it's kind of, dude, it's like hit or miss, because like sometimes people leave and come back, and like at one point it was like, it was Speedy, Stretch, Grenzy, Same Dude, Kev Mac, JJ, Blaze Merch. Then kind of Just Classics been around a little bit. And then we got like guests that come around, like Just Classics more of a guest, Mark II. And then we got like Dagger's kind of like a guest.
Who was the dude that wore the mask?
Oh, Spider. Oh my God, I forgot. Spider,
yeah.
Dude. Sometimes I forget about Spider because Spider he'll stop rapping for like a whole year, and then he just comes back And Spider's a great artist, and he is probably one of the smartest people I know. I swear to God, like him and my boy Drew that does the filming here for us. They're probably two of the smartest people I know. And Spider is like so like undersold as a rapper. It's crazy. And he used to, and now if he sees this, he can be mad at me because I forgot him at the end there. But
I didn't give him enough time to say your name.
Yeah,
Spider.
so like there'd be times I put like when I promo the albums coming out, I'd be like, oh, featuring Conway, Benny, blah. I'd list like 10 people and others, and Spider would be like, oh, I'm and others. So I'm like, I didn't mean it like that, man. There's like 50 people on this tape.
That's a fuck. And you got a new project coming out, right?
Yeah, well, we got always projects. Like we did Grenzy's new album, but then like he came back, and then now he moved to Florida. Speedy and Heist just dropped Dope 2. Mm-hmm. I dropped the Roar X album, which is basically our artists. So there's 11 tracks on there. One track has 9 guys on there, and it's a fire album. And then I dropped the EP with Rick Hyde from BSF and Smoke Bolger from Maybach Music. It's a 3-track EP we just dropped. And then I have my West Coast artists, because I got West Coast artists dropping in a couple weeks. And then my Spanish guy, Josiel. And then my main one is Morta. Mm-hmm. And that drops May 22nd. And that's a really big album. So,
can you tell us any features that's on there?
Oh, yeah. There's everyone. So we got like... Now I moved off of Benny's next Benny's BSF imprint from Next Records, which is a distro label, to a new distro label. My boy Greg Keller is partners with Steve Lobel, who everyone knows Steve Lobel is like huge. So we moved over to Lobel Music Group for distro, and then we've been releasing stuff slowly, seeing how it works, and now we're about to release this one. And we got some of his artists on there, like It's Holy. They manage him. A big one is Lefty Gunplay, who just won the Grammy with Kendrick Lamar. We got him on a track. This girl, Moon, I think she's half African-American, half Korean. She raps in Korean and English. We got her on a song. And then I got my artists on there, like Josiel, Heist, Just Classic, Speedy. We got a Spider's got a song on there, and then we got like Benny. I got Conway. I got Mark 40 is an up and coming rap. I don't know if he's up and coming, but he's a rapper from Cali. So like I think he's been out for a while now. So I wouldn't call him up and coming. I think he's a here artist, and he's gonna be a big artist for LA, I believe. Chop the Father from Texas, Ballistic Man. I got the homie Bliss on there. I got a little bit. I got my usual suspects, I call them: Rick Hyde, Fuego Bates, Ito, Bars Murray, Low Pro, like the usual suspects that I always have on. Like, those guys are great artists, and it's a great addition to everything. I got this girl Yara, she's from LA. I got Brad Piff. 448 Brad.
I thought you were about to say Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad.
I'm like,
Brad
how the
Pitt,
fuck you get Brad Pitt on there, Mike?
Skill. Brad Pitt out there. No,
that'd be crazy.
But I'm probably my boy Smoke Bolger. There's a lot of artists on there, so it's a good album. There's 18 tracks, 3 of which are skits, so there's 15 tracks, and Lesso's on there. His is the first single dropping. It's called Smoke Break. That drops 4/10. So, and then Party G drops after that. So Party G's a dope artist.
Word. And this is just a Struggle Mike album.
Yeah, Struggle Mike called Morta. It's basically like, because after this, like, I'm not going to do music, like my own shit no more. My main focus, I got some legal problems, so I'm going to be gone for a while. Mm-hmm. So when I get back, my focus will be helping my artists. Like, we did a bunch of music. So while I'm gone, they could keep releasing and put it out and keep the flame going. And then when I get out, whatever artists stuck around and kept doing the work, we'll be putting them forward, and I'll be working with them. Instead of me dropping an album with all these features, it'll be maybe a Heist and Speedy album with all these guys on there, and that's how it should be, I made a name for myself, and these guys got a name for themselves, so let's get them bigger now. Like, it's their time to move up, I like all this music I dropped. I'm almost at like 300 songs. If I was rapping, I'd be fucking lit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, damn, this dude got features with everybody, So that's my main focus. Now that I built the connections and a strong foundation, I could now branch out and help every other artist, and I'm gonna get more into Spanish music because that was my goal anyhow, is to get more into it because it's a bigger market compared. And I've been telling people like that since the beginning of me messing with music. So,
Word. So we got a top 5 segment on the show.
okay.
So we're actually gonna do 2. What are your top 5 business lessons you would give for anybody getting into the entertainment industry?
In the entertainment, man. Well, lesson like one of the lessons is everyone thinks being signed to a label is like the save me. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna give me 100,000 or 200,000 or a million. People don't understand. They're not giving you that money because you're lit. They're giving you that money basically like a bank loan. You know what I'm saying? They know they're gonna get that money off the top before anyone gets paid. Then you guys do the 80-20 or 60-40 or 50-50, however you guys do your split or whatever with the label. And don't take the deal as like the number one lesson. Like, unless they're offering, I mean, I get it, you don't have money, so someone comes up to you and offers you 200 grand. But at the end of the day, you gotta, there's a percentage you gotta go off to the lawyer, make sure everything is safe, money to the side for taxes, and then you're gonna spend it all in like a month or two because you're gonna buy stuff you don't have. You know what I'm saying? That 200 grand ain't worth $20 in a month. You know what I'm saying? So like you're better off just doing it on your own, because once you build it, like the distro labels is where to go, because like TuneCore and DistroKid is cool and all, but like the distro labels will get you on better playlists. They'll help you get on platforms. There will be other artists on that label that will either give you a discount on a feature or a feature for free because you guys are on the same distro label, instead of being tied down and them having all your masters and shit. You'll own your own stuff. So don't take the deal as like the number one thing.
Okay. What point do you think an artist should be at to where they start looking for reaching out to getting on distro labels or partnering up with distro labels? Like what point in their career, what point in their engagement, followers, whatever metric we're going to use.
I mean, you could do that whenever you want, because like, and if they mess with you, they mess with you. It's just better. And most of these
when would it be beneficial though? Because I don't think it'd be beneficial if just right out the gate your first song you go.
Yeah, no, like I mean, that's like me. Some of these guys have their first song, but I'm already established. Establish yourself. Get a couple albums out and then see how they do. Make sure you look like you can make money for them. And number 2 would be invest in yourself. So, because when you invest in yourself, those distro labels, that's what they like to see. They're lazy. They don't want to do shit. They don't want to put up money. They don't want to do nothing, if they don't have to. So if you come there and they see you're fucking out there flying to Cali or flying to Texas, you're shooting videos, you're putting out all this stuff, you're paying for Google ads on your YouTube videos, you're paying, Instagram and Google, or Instagram and YouTube are probably like the best situations, to get your content out there. And that's what they want to see. And then once they see that, they're like, damn, this dude just put like 100 grand in himself. We're going to hook him up with a feature from this big artist for free, because now they want to invest in you because they see you're serious. You know what I'm saying? So, that's invest in yourself, marketing and stuff. And then that will get those labels. Once you get that certain area where every time you drop, people are looking forward to your stuff. Instead of no one pre-saving your album when you put it out, you got 100 or 200 or 1,000 pre-saves. Your album drops, and instead of it doing 20 or 30 or 500 streams the whole album, now you're getting thousands on the first day. Sometimes in a week you might do 1 million streams. And people think, oh, 1 million streams is a lot. It is, but it isn't. But once you start getting to that where you're getting like a good amount of monthly listeners that are looking forward to you coming out, then that's good, and then you because the real money comes when you start doing tours, you're selling merch, and you're fucking doing features on the road. Like that's where the money is, like you go they're paying you $5 grand to come perform, and then you're selling merch, you're selling $5-6 grand of merch a day, and then you're selling, like BSF, Griselda, Drumwork, they got that shit on lock. Like City Boy will go on tour, he's the merch guy. So, and dude, they sell so much. I've seen this guy buy suitcases and throw them out just because he's so much merch. He doesn't need them, and then fucking like it's crazy. At the end of the tour, he's got a couple pieces left, and You know, like, I mean, that's where you want to be, because like that, these guys are making so much more money off of that than actual streams and physical buys. You know.
All right, so we got don't take the deal, invest in yourself.
Yeah. Don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody. No one, like if someone comes up to you and be like, hey man, I can get you on this for this much, they're already lying to you. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't talked to that platform itself, just assume those people are making, and that's how some of these guys make their money, is selling features or selling podcasts or selling, you know, platforms for Mic'd Up. And that's how some of these people make money. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I've seen a million times people like, oh, I need a verse from this guy. Oh, I'll see a dude be like, oh, it's 20 bands. And then they give the artist like 10. I'm like, damn, you're getting as much as the artist? At the end of the day, a manager should only get 20%. You know, maybe a little bit more if they're doing a lot. But like usually a manager is only supposed to get 20%. You don't even need a man. If you're not making fucking 10 grand a month off your music, there's no reason you need a manager at that point. Like most of that shit you can do on your own. Like, you know, like, so don't trust nobody, because everyone's out here, unfortunately. Well, to be honest, it might just be a Buffalo thing. Like, it might just be the city you're at thing. Let's put it that way. Because I know people in other areas that are like, yo, man, everyone in my town's weird. I'm like, well, that's how Buffalo is. But then they'll come to Buffalo and everyone wants to work with them. You know, it's like, you know, I paid the most working with Buffalo artists. Like, which is crazy. Like, anytime I've gotten features or tried to do videos, and it costs me more to work with people here than it is. Like, I've got people that just jumped, like Sue Surf jumped on my album with Conway. He didn't even know Conway was on the shit. My boy Smoke was laying down a verse. He walked by because they were both managed by my boy Greg. He's like, oh, I got to jump on this. Just jumped on it. Didn't charge me none.
That's hard.
Like, you know.
Free surf, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's just fucked up. He got out and they put him right back in. That shit's fucked. So, yeah.
So we got don't take the deal, invest in yourself, don't trust anybody. Need two more lessons for the people.
2 more lessons? Man, if you're an artist, some people can do it, some people can't. If you have a significant other, either keep them far away from it or don't have a significant other. Because I've seen so many people have girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, you know, whatever it is, and it usually gets all fucked up. You know, some of these guys, the minute you start getting bigger, money's flying in, girls are flying in, you know, like it's really hard to, you know, separate, you know, you're better off to be not with somebody, because but then some people really don't give a fuck. So I guess, you know, but I wouldn't, if I was an artist, I would not have a significant other. And if I did, that person would not be involved in anything at all, because this game is dirty and motherfuckers will use that to their advantage, or side talk her or DM her or whatever. You know, oh, I seen him at the club with this bitch. You know, that's how motherfuckers. And dude, you know what? It's usually guys. It's usually like, dude, seriously, a guy will hit up another artist's girlfriend or what. Like, I just seen him getting head at the fucking studio by some fucking fat girl, you know, like, and then, you know, the girl, you know, like, just on some shit.
Stories like that, yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
So you be in the studio, Donnie?
I don't know. What? So.
Yeah, he's dying over here. He's
literally though, literally. We need one more lesson.
The main lesson is you know, I try to do a lot of stuff on my own, and I should have did it differently. Like I'm so used to doing everything on my own from the way I grew up, and but I've done so much for so many other people. I didn't let anyone really come in, or if I have a team. I'm so used to dropping on a dime to do something to make it work. If someone's with me and they don't do that same thing, I'll just be like, I'll just do it. Never mind. But like, if you're an artist, you should have these people. You know, you should have a camera guy. You should have an editor, because every camera guy isn't a great editor, and every editor isn't a great camera guy. You know, a producer that could produce beats for you and engineer your recording session. And then if you got a homie that wants to be your manager, or you think you're at the time where you need a manager, get someone that's good and don't talk to nobody else. If someone hits you up for a feature or a show, you send them right to your boy and let him deal with it. At a certain point, when you're an artist and you're getting up there, you know, like people that I think are like on the verge of popping, like Jonesy or Young Fetty or, you know, K Pistol and Mari's one. Who else is out there? There's a lot of these guys, you know, that are ready to just fucking. They're getting so much clout in the town. They're at that point, and you need like a solid team, and you just need like someone that you should be focused on just being the artist. You shouldn't be hitting up people to do your video or hitting up this place to be on their thing. That's when the manager part really comes in. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be, because there's a level of stress to it, and you should be focused on your craft, which is rapping. Mm-hmm. You know, just like if you were a cook or a podcast, your craft at a certain point should just be your main focus. You know, like your podcast, you guys are interviewing. At some point, you should have someone else setting up the videos and setting up the artists to come in, and you guys should be mainly focused on your question, your demeanor, and for the thing. Like that's when that part comes in, mm-hmm. and then it will bring you further, you know, because then you're not as reachable as you are. Like, you know, let your buddy handle your Instagram, you know, fucking so he could answer questions and stuff, you know, and that's the final step, because like once you get to a certain point, you do need a manager, and you shouldn't be handling nothing but your craft, because if you're fucking trying to call a video guy to set up a video, and you're trying to get stuff organized for the video, and then you're making sure your producer's on point or your buddy's pulling up with the car, that should already be done. You know what I'm saying? Like you should just be ready to just walk in a room, shoot the video or the song, and be done with it and bounce right out. Because time at that, it's going to be a point where time is going to be money instead of money is time or whatever you want to call it. Because like, that's the quicker you get in and out and get shit done, the faster it's out there, the content's out there, the money's coming back, you know, the faster you get paid, you know, the easier you get paid. Like, you know, it starts to move very quickly, and you can't just do it on your own, you know. So
it's a fact. Very important lesson. So don't take the deal, invest in yourself, establish a solid team and foundation. Either stay single or keep your partner far away from your craft or the industry. And what's the last one? Don't trust anybody.
Which it seems like some of those all contradict themselves, but like you'll get it. You'll get it once you start.
Yeah, they make sense.
Yeah.
You got a third eye segment now? I do. So this is our last segment, the third eye segment.
Yeah. So this is where we ask questions about whether it's like unpopular opinions, conspiracy theories, just like spirituality, that type of thing.
Okay.
So just from hearing your story and just hearing like you've been through a lot, how did like spirituality and faith play a part in you like persevering?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. You know, no one knows. If, you know, people will say, you know, there's something else out there. You don't really know. And, you know, I die tomorrow. You're not going to know what I knew. You know, I mean, and spirits do come. I've seen people see spirits and they solely believe it, and I've believed it too. There's been times I've had like things. I've had a reoccurring dream for 2 years back when I was a teenager. That's not a teenager. I was 20. I had a reoccurring dream for almost 2 years where no matter what I was doing, I'd be eating dinner with my family, or I'd be outside hanging with the kids, or I'd be driving my car. And at the end of every dream, someone came up and shot me in the head and killed me. For like it was the same dream every night for almost 2 years.
That's crazy. I
did not sleep very good at all.
I believe it.
You know, and so I just assumed it was like something from before or beyond. And, you know, like, but like sometimes like, I don't know, man. You like lean on it. Like I lean on like a greater cause or a greater, you know, end to like get me through shit. Like, you know, like, damn, man, like, we got to finish this today. Like, how am I going to do this? Whether it's, you know, making a song or making a video, or when I was working on cars or doing something at the house or shit. You're busting your ass all day and you go home. You don't want to do that laundry. You got to get that little, well, I know I got to get it done. But there's something there that, like, that pushes you. And that's what I would say is, like, you know, like, you're like, okay, I lean on, you know, I started going back to church and recently. And, like, because, like, I knew I was not where I should have been, like spiritually, like, you know, and I like I said, like we don't really know, but we do know, and like I don't know, like I it's not like God came down and was like, yo man, you want to go get some chimichangas? And like, oh shit, let's go, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I wasn't there when Moses parted the sea. I can't, you know, I you know, depending on, everyone has a faith, you know, so like, how is like damn near, was it, I don't know what the percentage is, but I gotta assume it's high up there of people that believe in something, whether you believe in some dude came down in a spaceship with some aliens, you know, and he's gonna take you up there and have a good old time, or, you know, whether it's Allah or friggin', you know, it's all the same principle at the end of the day. I feel like, you know,
Absolutely.
like we believe, like I have another priest because we believe in like Saint Martha and stuff like that, which is,
That was my next question.
yeah, she was Christian, like a Christian thing, but they took her out. You know, they don't. But like Mexicans still believe in her. Like my whole back is a tattoo of her, and like when I got that done, I don't know what you want to call it. You know, some people say witch, some people say whatever, but you know he had to do like a prayer after I got it done because it's like an offering to her that I got it done on my back like that big. You know, I didn't get some little thing on my hand or like a little face on my arm. Like I got all on my back, you know.
No, that's real.
And I got her in black because there's different colors that are for different things. But black is, so in her cloak it says like the areas me and my family go to the most, like Mexico, Canada, LA, Florida, you know, New York, you know, like shit like that. Like, and in black, you know, it protects you from, it's supposed to protect you from death and death upon your enemies and stuff, and that's what I did on my back.
That's fire. No, I always, because I've studied that, and it's like understanding the connection just between like Americans and Mexicans and our cultures very tie in.
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very strongly. And no, I always, that's what's always stood out about Struggle was I had the big mural in Santa Muerta. Then I was just even looking through here.
We have them here. I have them in my house. Like sometimes I'll have medallions hanging in my car. You know, I always have it. So I have, you know, like my wife doesn't believe in that. She's a straight Christian, you know, and I am too. But I have like these beliefs, and like I've been around a long time, and there's got to be a reason I haven't died. So like, you know, that's where, you know, and like and I'm drawn to, I don't understand Spanish, but I'm drawn to it like all the time. Like Mexican music, reggaeton, you know, Puerto Rican music, I'm drawn to it all the time. And like, I don't know. It's just like, even like the Irish, like we have a long standing with Mexico. Like literally there's parts of Mexico that celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Because back in the day, you know, Irish people were like dogs. We were treated like dogs. You know, we almost died with the famine. We came here and then we were slaves. We were, you know, not taking nothing from, you know.
They used to call it the niggas of Europe. They tried to always push y'all with us or not include you in quote unquote whiteness.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about. So like, and then when we came here, we thought, you know, stuff was going to be different. America's going to be different. That's the dream, you know. And you get there and you're just getting treated like dirt. We just keep going down from New York, keep going down, down, down. The only thing we could do is join the military. No one was giving us jobs, nothing. So then we joined the military. Then we're fighting Mexicans, and you know, the Irish people realized they had more in common with the Mexicans than the new Americas, and they jumped ship and started helping Mexicans battle America. So they call us there was the St. Patrick's Battalion. And like Mexico still celebrates St. Patrick's Day in certain areas because of that, you know.
That's dope.
So there's always a tie there.
Oh yeah, no, that's fire. It's like Irish, they have definitely a connection with black people. It's like shit, y'all drink as much as us, y'all fight as much as us, y'all talk shit.
So, where else you gonna get a history lesson like that from, other than on No Label? Come on, we bring it all to you. But I just want to wrap up with one thing. So something that is a staple in Buffalo community and Buffalo hip hop in general is the Benny mural. So can you tell the story about how that came about, who did the mural? I think Speedy told a little bit of it, but I just want to get your like end of it.
So like, I mean, I'm big. I like art, and then my boy Ponce. Like I guess everything I do, is always not only that, benefit. I don't want to say most of the stuff I do doesn't even benefit me, but it's always to help other people. Like when I had a car shop or car shows or clothing, I always made sure other people could live off of it. So when I first started doing cars, my boy Ponce was like, oh, I want to get an airbrushing. I was like, well, here, airbrush my hood. So he did my hood first, and it came out butter, and he's been painting ever since. And then, fast forward to everything I do, I always make sure he has a mural or painting at my place. So when we had the store, he was doing stuff with my buddy Lindsey Taylor for the Blue Flu Festival at Silo City, I think, back then. And he's like, yo, I was like, yo, we should do a Benny mural. Everyone's doing murals for Conway and West, and Benny's not getting, and Benny, like, even though I was like messing with Benny the most, like I was like he needs his props too. So, he did it, and then fucking everyone loved it, and then we put it on the wall, and then I just kept it because I mean, I'm not gonna give it away. Like when we moved off that store, I could have left it on that building, but I didn't want someone fucking with it. So when we moved it, we took it down to the new store. That's why in Benny's song, like even before we moved it to the new store, Benny's like, my picture's still up on Seneca because he's talking about our store because it's always been on Seneca no matter what. Like it was at the new store in there, now it's over here. And, I talked to him a couple times about maybe us selling it or, or whatever, or bringing it to Art Basel. I had this big idea for Art Basel where that would be the main focus behind the stage and everyone could perform. And then P would make murals on canvas of each artist and do a live one of the BSF logo during Art Basel. But it never happened, but it is what it is. But P is still pushing Peter Ponce, and he's done the mural on my Buick, the mural all over my Buick, the mural on my hood of my truck from Mexico. He's done the one on my Honda that my son has now. Some of the Conway painting in here, that mural, like he does everything, man.
Where's he from?
He's from the West Side. He's from the West Side.
Okay.
Yeah, Ponce's like where his family's from in Puerto Rico, and it's his last name. So, but he's been around forever. He actually works night security at the art museum, which is crazy.
That's hard. That's hard.
I was like, man, this is like a cool story, dude. Like,
that's hard. Oh yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out to Ponce.
Yeah, you got to have him on here because he's got his own story. I just have my part of his story. He's done so much art for so many people.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have him on. So, I mean, you can connect those dots too for us.
Yeah, anytime.
Bro, we definitely appreciate you pulling up.
No problem, man.
Appreciate you having us here, allowing us to use the space. And just being like a staple in Buffalo and helping with the network and helping grow the city like as you have been.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I do it because, we need our shine, man. And I think, like, it's like when I had the bigger studio, I wish we could have all been studios in there. Like, it should have been I wanted the struggle in there. Like, it would have been, just imagine, my big store was huge. We had that event space. Untouched Talents was doing showcases there. Just imagine if, like, the struggle was in there. Modix's Evolution was in there. You got Bridge Studios in there. You got Tyree Haynes Studio. If all those 4 studios were in there, and there's more out there, don't get me wrong. I'm drawing blanks, but let's say there's 4 or 5 big studios in there. Like, instead of everyone trying to fight for the main spot, we'd be fighting together, and we'd be the main spot. And everyone would be like, listen, we got to go to the compound because they got 5 lit-ass studios. Everyone has their own, like, lane they're in. And we put all them lanes together, bro, it's going to make Buffalo look crazy. It would have made Buffalo look crazy instead of everyone being separated or segregated, and that's the way it should be because, like, we're a small town, and we need each other to build us bigger, to make us look bigger compared to all these states are like, it's just Buffalo, or they got Benny and Conway and West, and they don't know there's just such a plethora of artists, whether it be painters, rappers, models, people that make clothing, podcasts, the mic drops, like people that do car. There's so much stuff out here. My niece Sadia is like a crazy good model, and she's really into fashion. She's like the go-to now for all that stuff. You got people like Cafe doing all his. I mean, that's crazy. Like there's so many different lanes, but like everyone's together, but not at the same time. If we were all together, man, it would just look so like no one could stop us. No one could put something in front of us with like, oh, we can't go any more forward, and then, like it just, we'd be the spot to come to, not New York City, not Los Angeles, not Miami. People like, yo, I got it. Like Austin, look at Austin. Everyone's going there for South by Southwest. You know, like, what if we marketed and built each other together to make something like that in Buffalo? People are like, yo, I got to go to Buffalo in June. It's lit for the whole week. You know, they got studios doing all this and that.
We were literally just talking about that yesterday with Pretty Bully and Smoke.
Yeah.
It was like, we got all of this talent in Buffalo as far as like the infrastructure of the creatives, from photographers, videographers, producers, studios. If we all just worked together and made Buffalo like an actual hub, to where people can stop in different places. Like, you're going on the press run, you got to come to Buffalo type thing.
Oh, yeah. And
like Thursday through Sunday, like you said, how they do in New York. I got to go to this station. So I got to come to Hit No Label. Then I got to go to Sneak Vibing. Then we're going to the compound and record with so-and-so. So-and-so is going to be there.
Yeah.
Then we're going here for a show at Town Ballroom or something. Like, there's always something that people can do in Buffalo if we all just keep the infrastructure together.
If we did stuff like that, we'd be less looked at even by our own city as just, oh, there's just some hip hop people or rappers, or just, you know, they're just from the ghettos of the neighborhoods that surround the local scene. If we put shit together like that and we had no problems and we were influxing money, the city would have no choice but to be like, damn, you know, we got to make room for them. We got to, you know, we got to get them a better venue or make a better venue, or they would allow a better venue to open that relates to our stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like when I did car shows, there's no car shows for our style vehicles in Buffalo. It was all hot rods and muscle cars. I started doing the car shows for our style of cars, like the imports, the new tuners or the new muscle cars, like, you know, the custom paint, the Lambo doors, and the, you know, like the younger generation. And then we were like a go-to for people all over Northeast USA and Canada, you know, like, and that's then. And the car community has a good structure now in Buffalo, and now we need this with everything. Like, it could really, that would be like a goal of mine, is like to have our own like South by Southwest. Because if you haven't been there, you should go there. If you're an artist, whether you're doing video, you're making beats, you're doing photos, you're a rapper, you want to be a manager or an A&R, something, you need to be at South by Southwest, because there's thousands of people there, and you're gonna network so crazy. And that's where you know, South by Southwest, Art Basel in Miami now, the Grammy weekend in LA, you know, Fashion Week in New York. Those 4 events are now revolving a lot around music, and anyone that's an artist or anything in that area should be at those things. You don't gotta perform. You don't have to be at the most lit party, but you be at one of them or show up to this one or that one. You're gonna start getting known. You're start gonna make networking and meeting new people, and your base is bigger, which makes Buffalo look bigger. And they'll be like, yeah, and this guy's been coming from Buffalo. We got to look at Buffalo. And again, it returns to Buffalo. And they come to Buffalo, and we have some crazy ass event that's going on for a week where everyone's doing everything. They'll be like, damn, Buffalo is lit. I got to tell this guy. And then, you know, and that's where it comes in.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact, man. We agree. But definitely appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Struggle Mike, No Label the Pod. We out.
No label, no label, no